Morning. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to work on some material, but I also want to talk about a topic that's important to me. And if you have a mindset kind of like me, it may be important to you too. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is your individual path. Okay. Now, in no means do I mean to not study a good, solid base system. You need to have that base system before you move on, but you need to actually start to find your own journey. Now, in my opinion, what I've done, I started from a good solid base, and after I learned that base, my base was very eclectic. Kaji Kembo was a base that taught striking, grappling, all the different ranges of combat. It was a very well-rounded system, especially the way it was taught to me. But after that, base of knowledge, I chose to go out and discover the individual components of that. I went in depth in karate. I studied judo and jiu-jitsu. I studied varieties of Kempo, boxing, Chinese, Filipino, Thai, all those different versions of boxing. I studied those and collected that knowledge. Now, for years and years and years, I collected knowledge. And it was a very interesting conversation one day with my training partner, Dan Lewis, my blood brother. We were sitting there wanting to go to another seminar to learn some more stuff. And Dan looked at me and said, "Bro, we don't have time to practice the stuff we know." And that was pretty profound to me. So really, with that and reflecting back, Bruce Lee, a lot of his sayings meant a lot to me, even though a lot of them weren't his. He was a philosophy student, a degree philosophy student. That was his study. And he had a lot of good things, but the absorb what's useful, reject what's useless, and add specifically what's your own, always stuck true to me, So what I've done over the course of the last couple of decades, I developed my own way of doing things. By no means am I better than those that trained me, but I'm better at what I do than those who trained me. I'm better at what I like than those who trained me. Nobody knows my way of doing things any better than I do, and that's the same for you. Okay, so I'm not really about systems. Now I have some systems I teach because you have to have a guiding path for those who choose to train underneath you. My personal journey is very eclectic and non-denominational. My weapons art is not a Filipino art, heavily influenced by Filipino martial arts, but not Filipino. I'm not a Filipino. Yeah, I'm an American that studied Filipino martial arts and various other Southeast Asian arts that are heavily influenced by the weapon, European arts that are influenced by the weapon. I don't care. I don't care where it comes from. What I want to know is it effective, is it functional, and can it work for me? As long as I've determined that, we'll go with it. So what I'm going to show you today is something real simple that I just call 7 zones, 7 methods. The 7 and 7. Okay? If you want to call this the 7 and 7 system of martial arts, go ahead. That's not what it is. This is just about the way I look at it. Now, to me, the body is broken up in 7 zones. Today we're going to use a tomahawk to prove I have no allegiance with anybody. I love everything. This is one of the coolest training weapons I've ever gotten. I got this from Chris C. at Hog Mountain Tactical. Look him up on the web, Hog Mountain Tactical. Got some great stuff. Okay, so anyways, we're going to break down the zones. All right. So if I take a look at the zones, I'm going to look at zone 1 as high right side. Okay, we're going to look at the high right side is zone 1. High left side is zone 2. Now that's going to be covering above the shoulders. Between the shoulders and the hip, I've got a right side, that's number 3. I've got a left side, that's number 4. Once we break the hip down, I've got 6 and 7 with 5 being the center line. So then we're looking at 1 high right, 2 high left, 3 high middle right, 4 middle left, 5 center line, 6 low right, 7 low left. Very simple, 7 zones. I can use those to strike with anything that I have. So now I can sit and look at a numbering system with weaponry or empty hand or anything else and try and come up with a bunch of different angles of attack or this and that. That's cool. I have a method and a way to train that stuff, but it's just stuff, right? What I want to do is I want to put that together in a way that I can comprehend it and it makes sense to me as to what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Hawk always has a great expression: who, what, when, where, why, and then he adds the how. Okay, so I need to think about that. Who am I? What am I doing? What am I trying to achieve? Am I needing to just defend myself? Am I needing to go out and compete as a sportsman? Am I a law enforcement officer? Am I military? Who am I? Okay, what am I doing? Who, what, when, where, why? When am I going to be doing this? Where am I going to be doing this? Why am I doing this? Okay, and then, you know, of course, how? How am I going to do it all? So with that in mind, I want to think about these 7 zones and how I can hit them. So these zones can be done with any weapon, any implement, or empty hand. Again, we try to work that in. If I want to shoot a man, I may want to shoot him in the head at a certain area. Maybe I'll shoot him in the body. Maybe I'm going center line to number 5. Maybe I'm going to try and pick out a shoulder. Maybe he has a somebody that he's holding there. You know, I've got a victim being held in a hostage situation. I want to pick off that side of him that's exposed. I need to practice those things. All right. With the weapon, it's the same thing. Now, again, with this beautiful hawk, we're just going to go through 7 methods from a stick perspective, or a impact weapon, or an impact and an edged weapon. All right. So I could do this empty-handed. I could do with all this stuff. Today, I'm going to use this to break down the impact edged weapon kind of idea. I could do the same thing with a blade, with a knife, with a stick, whatever. I'm using a tomahawk today because tomahawk cool, and this is my video. So let's go take a look at the 7 methods that I've taught you before. Now these are Filipino based all the way. I'm going to use those for my example because, you know, a lot of people are into Filipino martial arts a little bit more. They have a good empty hand system. They want to develop a way of using weapons to enhance or complement their training. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this today on the 7 methods. Now we've covered these on other videos. If you go back and look, you'll see these individual methods being discussed, so I'm not going to go deep into detail on them here. I'm just going to break them down to you. Now, I could call this a number 1 strike, number 2 strike, and so on, or I could look at the zone and say, I need to strike the zone 1, how am I going to hit it? What am I going to hit it with? Those kind of things, right? Today I'm going to hit it with a hawk, all right? How am I going to hit it? Well, I'm going to use one of these 7 methods. And I'm not going to hit every zone with every method, but I think you'll get the gist of what I'm trying to say to you. So now, method number 1 is what we call the Ocho Ocho, or the figure 8. All right, I'm moving this figure 8 pattern. Now, how does that work? Very simply, 1 and 2 are beautiful targets for that. Okay, it's a wonderful thing. I can hit 1 or 2 with the Ocho Ocho. It's a great thing to do. I know I need to hit angle 1 or zone 1. I want to hit zone 2. Either way I want to do it, I can hit it very well and very efficiently with the Ocho Ocho. All right. Now the next one that we work on is the Bandi Banda. Now the Bandi Banda, a lot of times we just call it back and forth. All right. Now this is a beautiful one for 3 and 4. Could be done with 1 and 2 as well. I don't have to be coming diagonally down. I can come across horizontally, and that would be my Bandi Banda high. Stupid light. Bandi Banda middle, Bandi Banda low, right? I could even come back and forth through the center line too, but we're just going to cover it from a 3 and a 4 perspective. The Bandi Banda here would be just coming across 3, 4. All right, that's a real simple way to work on that. Next one we're going to work on is the Rompita, the up and down. Okay, we're just moving up and down. This is a great one for number 5. I just come in with the down. Okay, I'm going to whack them on a number 5 with the Rompita. Now, after we come back with the Rompita, we went from Ocho Ocho, we went to Bandi Banda, we went to Rompita. Okay. Next one we're going to work on is going to be our Sungkiti. It's going to be a slash. A little bit tougher to do with a tomahawk, but we're going to go ahead and work it that way, especially when we do the hooking and gaffings. Because this thing's beautiful because I do have a cutting implement on one side, a thrusting implement on the other. I can just use this head as a striking implement to go ahead and strike out and thrust. Strike a 5. Strike a 5. I can actually gaff it to the 1 and the 2. I can gaff it to the 3 and the 4. Okay, anything I'm doing there, my Sungkiti Tetsada, where I would be coming in either straight or gaffing, can be done on that implement. Now we could go through with the Doblada the same way. I come in and I strike a small circle to a big hit. I could come down, hit the weapon bearing limb to a 1 shot. I get the weapon bearing limb 1 to a 2 shot. We could do that type of thing with the Doblada. Okay, the Abanico, with this it would be more of a flat blade. To the side, which would be more of a 1-2, or maybe a double up on a 5 line. Right, so I'm coming in either hitting 1-2 with it, or coming in hitting the 5 line. And then the last one we're going to work on is the doblada. So the doblada would be coming in 2 big old hacks coming down. So I could be coming in maybe from a 1 to a 5 on that one. Come in, get to 1 to a 5, or come in 2 to a 5, right? That's the type of thing you can do with that. So what we did is we covered our 7 methods, our banda y banda, our ocho ocho, to our banda y banda, to our sunkiti, to our rompida. Let me start that over. We're going to do our ocho ocho, to our banda y banda, to our rompida, to our sunkiti tutsada, to our doblete, to our abanico, to our doblada. Okay, so we covered our 7 methods, and you can take any one of those 7 methods and work it against one of those 7 zones. Okay, and that's the whole idea. Now you could strike your empty hands in there. I could come in and think about throwing an overhand right to 1, a hammer fist to 2, a hammer fist to 5, a straight punch to 5. You know, you can work all of your weapons into those 7 zones. And you don't have to make it complicated that way. I don't have to give you a bunch of different angles of attack or things like that. You figure out the way you want to strike it. You just need to know where to strike it. Now also, those 7 zones are 7 zones on my body that could be struck as well. So I need to know how to defend my 1, my 2, and varieties of things like that, my 3, my 4. You know, I need to know how to defend those things. I need to know how to defend my low zones. Okay, so take a look at those 7 zones, how to hit them on somebody else, and how to defend your own zones. And then take a look at these 7 methods of striking that I showed you earlier. Put those together, get on a target, use the variety of different methods of striking to hit the variety of different zones. And experiment, have fun, and create your own journey. So I'm not going to discourage you. I'm not even trying that. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to study a base system. You know, get to an instructor level, get to a black belt, get to a level of experience or expertise that you can move on. Because the whole idea of with Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do was absorb what's useful, reject what's useless. But unless you put in some time training, you're not going to know what's useful and what's useless. Okay, you have to actually pressure test this stuff. You got to go against opponents. You got to apply them. A lot of times, something that seems like it won't work ends up being one of your favorite techniques. I've had joint locking and grappling techniques I could not stand when I first learned them. Turned out to be one of my go-tos today. Same with many different strikes. You know, I may have been a right hand guy throwing a rear hand straight for half my life, loving that. Watch Chuck Liddell throw the overhand right. Boom, I'm throwing that overhand right. Now that's my go-to. It can be something as simple as that. I may have loved the front kick, but now I turned out to really be a fan of the oblique kick. Okay? It's all going to be about your personal journey, but in order to have that journey, you got to have a vehicle. Okay? Your base of your study provides you a vehicle. Okay, and then after you have that vehicle, you drive where you want. You drive how you want. You drive where you want. You drive when you want. Okay, does that make sense? Who, what, when, where, why, how. You can only do those things after you have a vehicle to get you there. All right? So have a great day, work hard, catch you next time.